I spoke at the mosque in London shortly after that horrific terrorist incident. That, to lose 3 generations of a family just because of how they look and where they worship is unacceptable and isn't the kind of Ontario I want to live in. And we know these kinds of horrific attacks are happening across the province. Not too long after that, right here in Guelph, there were 2 Muslim men who were attacked for just walking down the street. And we have to crack down on hate crimes. And so not only do we need political leaders, like all political party leaders spoke out that day in London, both at the federal and provincial level. But we have to go beyond words to having concrete actions. I think people are tired of thoughts and prayers, even though that's helpful, but we need action. And so that's why I've been a big supporter of our London Family Act that was designed by the National Canadian Council of Muslims. And some of the key highlights of that would be efforts to dismantle hate groups in our society, and a growing rise in hate groups. Islamophobia, anti-Semitism, anti-Black racism, other forms of hate are on the rise, and we need a concerted effort to dismantle these groups. We also need to make sure we have protective zones around mosques, synagogues, gurdwaras, other places of worship, because nobody should have to fear for their lives and their safety and their family's safety because of where they worship. We also need to make sure that we integrate anti-racism education into our education system and make curriculum changes, because we want to make sure we educate people about just how horrific Islamophobia is, how horrific racism is, and having that be part of the curriculum is vitally important. And so then I would say also increasing funding for the Anti-Racism Directorate and broadening its mandate to include Islamophobia. And so those are a number of concrete steps that I believe we can take. And one of the commitments I've made is that going into the next Parliament, I'm going to do everything I can to get all 4 parties in the legislature to co-sponsor legislation to enact these kinds of changes, because I think it would send a strong statement in Ontario if we have a unanimous vote to pass a bill like the Our London Family Act. I was working hard on that prior to the election, and I'm committed to doing that work after the election.